In today's video, I have to survive the dinosaur age. I am not alone and accompanied by my friend Diamond Ninja, and we have 3 objectives. First, scavenge enough items to survive in a world filled with prehistoric dinosaurs. Second, find rare fossils and build a laboratory to clone our very own dinosaurs. And third, survive the falling meteorites and erupting volcanoes which are threatening to wipe us out. As soon as I spawned, I found myself beside a pond of water. I then saw my friend and we decided to greet each other like we usually do. And after he got me to really low health, we decided to start gathering trees. First thing we needed to do before meeting any dinosaur is get some proper items to defend ourselves. I gave my friend Diamond Ninja some items so he could craft us something, and then decided to hit some bushes to see if they drop any berries. I was really low on health and didn't want to risk restarting the playthrough already. And after I stopped bleeding, we decided to go deeper into the jungle. And then we found a little cave. And I left my friend to go gather some chickens I saw running about. The dinosaurs hit really hard with this mod, and we didn't want to risk it at all. There were also friendly ones out there, but that was rare compared to the dinos that do attack you. And returning back, my friend gave me a wooden axe so I'd go and gather some wood for our furnace. And not wasting any time, our progression was going really smoothly. I got some cooked food to recover my health. I made a stone pickaxe and mined a single iron ore which was in our little cave. And then I went off again to find some more food. The first day is always all about supplies and getting enough items to survive. And especially since we have dinosaurs roaming around which could one-shot us. This would be a lot more nerve-wracking than any other normal world. By the way, speaking of which, you'll see really soon us getting almost killed by one of the dinos we meet. And us preparing right now with all the gear and items really saves us at that moment. But because it was getting so late, I went back to my base. And my friend already had some iron and tin in the furnace, which we used to craft 2 chest plates. I also crafted myself a pickaxe. And while waiting over the night, we thought of a plan for the next day. This world still also has zombies and creepers in it, but there's also now the addition of dinosaurs. And when we finished mining through the whole night, we saw it was already daytime. So without burning any more of it, we set off on our expedition deeper into the forest. And came across some more open areas with ore sticking out of the ground. I got some coal, tin, and also some weird new block. I haven't looked at its name yet, but it would be really useful down the line. But while mining some more, I hear a strange sound. And when I turn, I see our first ever dinosaur. This is the first encounter we have with them, so I call my friend Diamond Ninja and we both inspect it really closely. And sure enough, it's our lucky day because it is friendly. I can't imagine what would happen with us if it wasn't because a simple iron chest plate is not enough to defend against their attacks. I then tried to cut down one of the big trees in the forest, but the game said it was too big. And going further ahead, we saw another Stegosaurus. But making our way outside the thick forest, we saw the beautiful world we were in. And also came across a strange looking object. We mined it, but it wasn't really anything. I think it was supposed to be a big flower. But going ahead, I find some more ore I quickly mine. And then see a really tall tree. We also then thought of an idea to build our base up high on a tree because from one of the previous videos, one of you left a comment that we should build a base somewhere really high. But that was a zombie video, which by the way you should definitely check out. But we also thought this'd be a good idea even for a world like this. And after more traveling, we come across a stone statue. I mine inside to see if it holds anything, but it seems it's completely empty. And then we came across a deep ravine. We decide to scale it down because we are in need of better equipment if we want to survive this series. And going down, I mine some ores. And also see some strange blocks that look like they contain some dino fossils. Sadly, they don't drop anything, so we continue mining and exploring. And further into the cave, we came across a poisonous pool of water. This is really weird as we never saw anything like it before. My friend was the test subject to see how potent it was, which, spoiler alert, wasn't that bad. But going deeper, we come across more fossils. I mine one again and it doesn't drop anything. And after a long Google search, I finally get an idea of what they are and how to gather them. And for that we need to craft some plaster and bandages. I get them by combining paper, white wool and gypsum powder, which is one of the new blocks I mined earlier and said would come in being really useful. And upon using it on the fossil, it turns white. I mine it and it drops a Dimorphodon fossil. We then find more of those fossils. And I give the honors to my friend Diamond Ninja in mining some of them too. And building ourselves up from the ravine, we found ourselves at the other end, some new place entirely. I also see a big frog here. We decide to see if it drops anything. But we can't even hit it because of how fast and small it is. And then we see our first encounter with a Pherecynosaurus. Wow, these names are gonna be hard to pronounce. But yeah, this guy looked really friendly, and he also had some funny chicken arms. But in the distance, one dinosaur really caught my eye. He looked aggressive and I wanted to see if we could fight any of them head on. But coming closer, he starts lunging at me. We quickly start punching him. But with one hit, he gets me to 1.5 hearts. I start running away as fast as I can. But looking back, he starts chasing me. Friend tells me to start building up, so I lift myself with a tower. And then I eat some food to regain my health, while we think of a plan to bring him down. I also see in chat that a meteorite is going to crash somewhere really soon. So we think that we need to fight him because we don't want to miss a chance of looking at a falling meteorite. And our new plan was to fight him again, but now we had shields. My friend crafted me one and I started tanking the dino until with the last hit we killed him. He dropped a lot of bones and also some meat. But we decided not to waste any more time and started heading to the coordinates of the meteorite. And entering a desert biome, I see a new type of dinosaur. This one's pretty small and they're also friendly. We look at it in peace and then start heading to the meteorite again. And once we get to the spot it was supposed to land in, we got a bit early, but we still heard the sound of gushing wind, meaning that it will be here really soon. And while we waited, Diamond Ninja decided to build a bunker with a view of the crash site. This would be a great idea because we didn't know how big the explosion would be. Because, think about it, dinosaurs became extinct because of a meteorite. What if it was this one? But I'm only joking, I don't think we'd be this bad with luck. So, while waiting for it and having the bunker built, we explored the desert a little and found a little cactus which when stepped on would do damage. But only if you were not wearing boots. So I took damage, but funnily enough, my friend didn't take any damage. We also found a pool of purple water, which was again from my guess, poison. We decided to use some buckets and run a few tests. And weirdly, it turned to water when picked up. And when put into the same pond again, it turned the blocks into some dirt. But looking up at the sky, I saw it. The meteorite was falling down, and it was huge. We quickly got back into our bunker, and looked through the window. I was genuinely scared if we died from an explosion caused by it, and as it got closer, I saw it was made of some sort of nether rock. And as it hit the ground, it created a big explosion and covered the ground with some blocks. As we got closer, we didn't see much, other than it opened a cave entrance and I somehow fell into it. But exploring it closer and mining some of it, these blocks didn't drop anything useful. We had a last look at the landing site of the meteorite, and then again we were off on our journey. We were looking for a good spot for our base, and after days of adventuring, as we just tried and failed to mine some of these trees, I came across a scary sight. There is a Dinosaur looking right at us. He isn't moving, but that got me so scared at that moment, I thought this was the end. And as I was backing off, he stood up. I decided to quickly go and grab the wood we gathered earlier, and met up with my friend. If you wondered why we were on top of one of these trees just before, it's because we found this to be the perfect place for our base. It had some really good views, but because of the new neighbors we had to act fast. So crafting the ladder, I started making my way to the top of the tree. It was tall and really good for a tree base. And with dinos like before running around here, it would be really useful to have some height when we slept in our beds. And as I nearly got to the top, I fell and nearly died. This was funny because all of these dinosaurs around us are so dangerous, but I nearly ended our playthrough by falling from a tree. But as we got up, it was already getting pretty late. We put up some torches and decided to start building the base. First, we got a floor down. And already at daytime, we built up the walls. We didn't want to destroy too many blocks of the original tree our base was on, and decided to implement them as a decorative design into our base. And finishing up the rooftop, I saw it was starting to take a really good shape. We had a water elevator coming down and up to the tree, and all in all, it looked really good. Climbing up, we also had some chicken already cooking. As my friend also placed down my bed, I decided to decorate my little area of the base even more, and made some adjustments to the wall, mixing it with natural blocks of this tree. And as we cooked up some tin and food, we got a chest down to place all of our unwanted items. And having one more look at our tree fort, we decided to keep going and see what we had around us. And while running, I get attacked by a skeleton that spawned in the night and survived by hiding in some shade. He drops a bone, which is really lucky, as when we continue running, I find a pack of wolves. I have only 2 bones, so I know my chances are really slim, but I managed to tame a wolf with 1 bone. I think that's insane, and give the other bone to my friend, and he unfortunately doesn't have such luck. But running ahead, we then come across a big dinosaur. This one's really unfriendly and the same kind we saw beside our base earlier. We think to ourselves that it's too soon to fight these guys. But just as we're about to leave, I see another dinosaur in the distance. This was really bad as it seems we adventured into their territory. But while going around their area, we then come across a huge mountain. I suspect this is a volcano which hasn't yet erupted. As we come closer, my dog becomes stuck in water. And my friend also somehow manages to tame it. So now we are both its owner. But as we get closer, I see the sheer magnitude of the volcano's size. We decide to scale it and have a look inside to see if it's active. And upon coming to the peak, we see just how tall it really is. But coming closer to the center, I see that the lava is pouring up from the big hole. This means it's gonna overflow really soon. Up with some cobblestone to sit and watch as the lava flows before me. But then my friend reminds me of how am I gonna get down if there's gonna be lava everywhere. So we decide to quickly descend, and at the bottom we see the lava. And as it starts raining, we head back to our base. We did enough exploring right now and want to expand the base to cover more area. And upon getting back, it's already daytime. We want to build a base down below, but for that we first need to clear out the area. But as I'm scouting it out, I see a big dinosaur in the distance. This one is definitely not friendly. We build ourselves up so that he could not get us, and start shooting him with our bows. We are not that good geared yet to go into melee combat with them, so we're taking precautions and keeping a distance while fighting these dinosaurs. And as I shoot the final arrows, the beast lays down. We come in closer and dismember his body for bones and meat. This was a job well done because now we could build our base. And this dino that's been lurking around our base since day one is finally not a problem. But to build the base, we will need wood, so I start gathering some. But then suddenly I see a burning tree. This is bad because I look around the whole place and it seems to be on fire. At first we don't know what's happening, but then we find a big obsidian block that destroyed half of a pond nearby. And finally get it. This is a volcano shower. We saw the volcano earlier and these blocks came from that exact direction. This was really bad as an eruption like that would be devastating for our base. But nevertheless, I continue gathering planks for our base, and then all of a sudden I see these burning blocks just falling from the sky. It's insane because they are literally destroying everything. Luckily, our base is just out of their reach, but it is a problem because they just about reach it and do cause some damage. This also showed us that the dinosaur age was not to be taken lightly. Meteors falling from the sky and volcanoes erupting. The world was really dangerous, so building this house to keep us sheltered from all these things was our main goal. We also weren't throwing away the tree base to build a new one here. It would be used as an outpost to see any incoming dangerous dinos and also to keep our most precious loot because the treehouse was further from the eruption area of the volcano and there was less chance it'd be blown up. I started clearing the floor from dirt blocks and replacing them with cobblestone. And after a short while, our house was done. It had windows, some bushes surrounding it because we wanted to feel homely in this prehistoric age, and we started finishing off the interior. Some furnaces, an enchanting table, the place already looked awesome. I also had 2 magic saplings. It's a new type of tree which was a blue color. I placed 2 of them in front of our house to grow. And then we started running because we saw earlier in chat that a meteorite would be falling down again. They usually have a timer on how many minutes before it lands, so we thought we just had enough time to finish the house, but running there I almost fell into a big crevice. We come across some pumpkins on the ground, and my friend makes a jack-o'-lantern. I also make one, but keep it to plant somewhere in our base. After more running, we come across an open area, and I see the meteorite in the sky. It's falling down slowly, but I noticed this one's a different color. After looking it up, it's the ancestral type, whatever that means. But as it lands, there is a big explosion. Everything around us is on fire. And as we come closer for an inspection, we see more blocks. These are different, but then again, as we mine them, we don't get anything. I was kind of confused at this point about these things because it said they'd be dropping good loot, like space debris, which we could use to craft armor and stuff, but that didn't seem like the case. And as we got back to our base, I saw Rogop's dinosaur running around our house. It was dangerous and hit my friend before for more than half his health. So I ran to our house, where from a distance we epically put it down with our bows. He dropped a lot of bones and also meat. We also keep most of the bones we collect because our plan is to make a cloning laboratory in the future. And on the next day, as we got up and the sun was shining through the window, we had a big goal: build a dinosaur enclavement area. This would be the place where we'd breed the dinosaurs we make ourselves in the future laboratory. We wanted a safe space for them to run around, but to also not lose them. And to build a little area for them, we started by leveling the ground. expanding it a little bit, and then building a shelter where the dinosaurs would sleep and take cover from the rain. It would be their little house. But we also started putting up a fence barrier around the perimeter. I planted a tree so they'd have some vegetation here, and then it turned out my friend Diamond Ninja forgot how to craft fence gates, so I had to craft them myself. And with the last touches, it was done. The trees I also planted earlier actually grew already, and they looked really good. The house was looking really beautiful, and you could hardly say it's from the prehistoric age when all we could do is live in caves. But as time comes, we decide to set off on another expedition, and this time our goal is to get more fossils. We want to get a friendly and non-aggressive dinosaur first to see how it turns out overall. And making our way down into one of the open crevices, we see a pteranodon. It's an aggressive type of flying dinosaur, so we make quick work of it with our bows. And going deeper into the underworld, we find a lot of ore. But going even further ahead, we cross all types of different terrain, until we descend into one of the openings and I see some fossils. We spend a lot of time just gathering different things. Because we don't have a lot of fossils to work with, we take all we can really. But going up, I get attacked by some really aggressive dinosaurs. They drop me to half my health, so I decide to build up and defend myself. And upon exploring more, I'm just astonished at the destruction the volcano did. The whole area was destroyed. I decided to craft a furnace to smelt some mithril ore we got, to mine the obsidian. Because we aren't in any caves, we won't have another chance of getting such easy obsidian for a nether portal. And we'd like to really get some onyx gear from the nether before doing anything dangerous. But while mining for it, it doesn't drop. It seems mithril isn't as good as diamonds. This was really bad luck, so we decided not to waste any more time and head back to base. We got enough items from this expedition regardless, and I think we could do some more renovations at the base to keep us safe from the bad T-Rex type of dinosaurs, if they ever creep up beside our base again. But running back, we see a mammoth. This is awesome as it's a prehistoric creature that just fits this timeline, but then it gets attacked by some zombies that spawned because of the night. We defended by killing all of the mobs around it, and going back I also noticed some glowing plants in the distance. When I picked them up, they're called glow flowers. This would be really cool to use instead of torches. Coming closer, we also see one of the big trees on fire. It's literally the closest tree to our base we made before. I don't know if we're lucky it's not our tree, or if this is really bad, because ours is next. But we come inside the house, close the doors, and go to sleep. And the next day, we find a meteorite, but now we're prepared with some diamond picks. After we finished mining enough blocks, we head back. And once inside, I decide to craft myself a mithril sword and also enchant it using some lapis lazuli we found before. And going to sleep, on the next day we woke up to see a really scary dino patrolling outside. This was another new kind we never saw before, but I guess we got a type of skill now to see if they're friendly. But we didn't spend any time on it and decided to build the nether portal. But we also decided to take a little break here because my friend had some stuff to do IRL, and after a few days we noticed that it started snowing outside our house. And there was also a big bird called Titanus sleeping under one of our trees. And as we got into the Nether, I saw we were beside a Nether fortress. This was really good as we were here for two things, onyx and blaze powder for potions. Upon exploring, I saw some weird blocks, and when mining it, it didn't really break. I tried using a plaster on it just like a fossil block, but that also didn't help. I still don't know to this day what they are, so if anyone has any ideas, please leave a comment. But coming across a lava puddle, we saw some onyx. It's really good as onyx is better than diamonds, but worse than netherite. So it's pretty rare. I also see a floating grass island with a tree. This is mega weird that it's in the Nether, but I guess this is how the biome is in the prehistoric Dino Age. We see a cave and descend down. Exploring, we find some magma rocks. We mine it because it'd be a good way to light up our base and also make like a perimeter to burn the dinos that come close. We also saw some strange blue flames. My friend actually gets possessed when he walks into it, and what this effect does is make you run frantically. I think this would be dangerous if we were beside a cliff somewhere. But nonetheless, we decide to build up to the fortress. It was time to clear it and get some blaze powder. And right off the bat we find a chest with a ton of diamonds and also twig fossils. And exploring further, I came across a blaze. After dealing with it, I don't see their spawner, so I go back to help my friend fight some magma slimes. While at the end of a tunnel, I also navigate my friend to some onyx. He follows my directions while I'm all the way here. And going deeper inside, I find another chest with nether warts and also a dino figure. We also come across a really weird building. We never saw anything like this in the Nether, so coming closer, Diamond Ninja breaks a block and a bee comes out. This turns out to be a massive beehive. I don't know how it got into the Nether, but hey, this is Dinosaur Age, so anything goes, I guess. And going further, we come across some white statues. This turns out to be literal bone blocks, so we mine a lot of them. Because we could craft bone meal with this, and that meant we could grow a lot of food if we ever need it fast. And there was also a red puddle. We jumped in, but nothing happened. So I guess it's just another pond. But then we came across a whole obstacle terrain. This is a field full of spiked bushes. I saw a pigman just get killed by it, and it was crazy. Turns out never was more green before. Traversing the path, I find some weird blue ore, but again mining it, nothing drops. I don't know why it doesn't, but if diamond doesn't mine it, I really don't know what can. But we find a really good place later on. And we decide to build a little base here. We want to have bases everywhere we can so that we could easily come back. So we chose this place to build a quick shelter. It looked funny, but we didn't have any windows and we were pretty far from the nether portal. This base was to be like a beacon of how far we got into the nether. So we really used any blocks we could find, but it still had a pretty good place right beside some green fields and the nether, so we couldn't ask for more. I also placed a little dinosaur figure by the window. And after days of getting back to the portal, we finally make it. It's still snowing outside, or at least it hasn't melted. And funny enough, the bird is still sitting here under the tree I planted. We literally don't know why, it just stays here. But if it wants to chill here, then we can't say no as it's not a threat. As it's already nighttime, we go to bed and end the day. And the next day I make myself an onyx armor set as well as some tools. I put everything into one of the chests and head out. But all of a sudden, a dinosaur lunges at me. I quickly run into the base and close the door. My friend is AFK, so he can't really help, but this huge dinosaur is just encircling our base. I see it through the windows and doors. He kills the titan bird pet we had earlier. So we decide to take aim, but all of a sudden he teleports into the nether. This is crazy, but because he was already low on health, we followed him in. This is crazy because this never happened before and I didn't even know dinosaurs could use the portal. We quickly kill it and loot everything it drops. And going back to the normal world, I start heading into the forest to gather more wood. But then I notice an ankylosaurus, and he has half his health gone. This means he was in a fight, but because they are friendly dinosaurs, that means he was attacked. And then we find the perpetrator. We wanted to do something, but then we saw two of them, so yeah, we decided to leave it at that. So getting more planks for our next base idea, we finally were ready to build it. And what we wanted to build was a much bigger cage for our dinosaurs. We saw the size of all these dinosaurs and understood the cage was a little bit too small. And to expand it, we just craft a lot of fences. The barrier would be a lot bigger and better. And I think this first area we had could be used as an entrance into the big enclosure. So getting to work, we started placing down the fence walls. And after a lot of time, we were finally finishing up the area. This was a huge task, and I think we did it in a pretty short amount of time considering how much wood and stuff we needed to build it. But now it was a lot bigger. The walls were tall enough to really keep any dinosaur enclosed. And as you can see, we built the wall into a tree. And also didn't cover one of the sides because there was a crevice on it. But after we got it done, it was time to actually build the lab and clone and breed our dinosaurs. Having our own dinos would mean we could ride and also use them as storage. They could also follow commands and defend the base against any other dinosaurs that wish to attack us. But while building it, we got attacked by a little dinosaur. We killed him and continued building the lab. It wasn't gonna be anything big, just enough space for all the equipment. I also tried getting some iron to build us iron doors, but accidentally picked tin and was wondering for a while why the door didn't craft. Tin and iron look so alike. But placing down some levers and also light, it was time to place all the equipment, and this took ages to make. Most of the parts were easy to make with glass, iron and redstone. But some items were rare and it took quite a while to craft them. And on the next day, we started the fossil cleaning experiment. We got some water to use in the cleaning station, and got the fossils cleaned for actual dinosaur bones. We then used the fossil grinder to grind it into dinosaur tissue. This was pretty rare and the items had a chance to turn into flint or bone meal. Overall, the whole process was a bit tedious, with all time spent waiting for it to craft. But as we got a dino tissue, I used the DNA sequencer and combined it with an empty data disk. We would copy the dino tissue DNA onto a disk and use it in the machines to clone it endlessly. But we had to do it a couple of times because not all tissues had 100% DNA results, which is what we needed. So we got a couple of 40% disks and combined them in the DNA combinator. But looking outside, it started snowing. This was pretty cool as we would get even more snow on the ground. But if we wanted to build a farm in the future, we'd have to think of how to keep the water from freezing. This is an actual problem we came across in the video in the future. And we decided to make a farm to actually have a food source for the dinos we were making right now. But after we finished using the DNA synthesizer, we had Ankylosaurus DNA. We chose it as it's one of the more peaceful but still strong dinosaurs, and it would be really good for defending the base against any swarms of other dinosaurs. And to use the embryo calcification machine, we actually needed a chicken egg. My friend got one from the house, and when we got back and put it in, we finally got the dinosaur egg. But these eggs were not like other spawner eggs, meaning we can't really just spawn them right now. We have to use an incubator which heats up the egg and then gives us a hatched egg at the bottom. This is by far the longest machine because it took days for it to finally heat up enough so we could spawn the Ankylosaurus. But on a beautiful morning, we woke up and the egg was hatched. My friend picked it up, and going inside the enclosure to spawn it, we actually found another dinosaur. Don't know how it got in, so we just guess it spawned in there. But it was good to see that it didn't leave because that meant our enclosure has worked. And as we spawned our dino, which we worked so hard to get, it was unimaginably small. So small it would be impossible to find it if we lost sight of it. So I placed a torch beside it, and after a few days I was just randomly watching how one of the dinos, which wasn't ours, was nearly out of the cage. And then he got attacked by a random T-Rex. This was crazy to see. We didn't know how they could fight through the walled fences. But yeah, the random dinosaur unfortunately got killed. But then, as a total surprise, our dinosaur actually killed the T-Rex through the wall too. This was insane. But nevertheless, we got ready and decided to head back into the wild. This time our goal was to get back to the volcano we were at before, and dig under to find some good fossils. As the best fossils were always in the most dangerous areas. We already had a practice run with the friendly dinosaur, and wanted a T-Rex as a pet. This will be the ultimate goal. So after days of running, we finally see it. The smoke was worrying, but more than that was the hungry looking dinosaur down below. We built up and took it down with our bows, which became a habit by now, as this was the best method to fight against these dinosaurs. There was a lot of lava, but we don't have to climb to the top. Our goal is to dig under it, get to the lava core inside it, or at least as close as possible, and dig around for fossils of one of the deadliest dinosaurs to ever live. And we didn't have to dig long, as we already started hitting some fossils. These weren't the right type, but it meant we were getting close. And digging deeper, we hit an obsidian puddle. This meant we were right under the volcano, just underground. And it also meant when the lava started spawning, because of the volcano, the middle part was underwater because of some underwater caves. And that flooded the lava while it spawned, creating a big obsidian layer. And digging around it, we find a lot of fossils. These are the highest quality fossils you can get. And sure enough, they are of a Tyrannosaurus. This is the mega big dinosaur that is super dangerous, and is the apex predator of all other dinosaurs. So we continue exploring and mining more of its fossils. And after we get enough, we start heading back up. It was already night time, and we started running back to the base to get the DNA from these fossils. But on our way we fought some zombies and skeletons that attacked us. I also checked out the destruction the volcano caused, but we were really lucky as our base was just out of reach of all of these flying obsidian blocks. And as we went back, we got into the laboratory to start processing the DNA. This is again such a long process that I'm just gonna skip it for you. You already saw all the machines and we don't want to waste any more time showing you it again, because it's basically the same thing as before. And as we finally got the egg, we ran into the incubator to put it in. It would again take days for it to heat up and turn into a hatched egg, so to end the day we got back into our home. I crafted Diamond Ninja a bed because his got destroyed, and we slept the night. And skipping forward a few days which we spent waiting, the day came in when it hatched. My friend had it in his hand and we went into the enclosure to finally spawn it. And once we did it, it was so small it started running away. It was hard to keep track of it, and it actually escaped our enclosure. But we figured that it wouldn't really run away from this ravine. So we knew that it'd be in this area and decided to leave it there, as there was nothing more we could do to lure it in or anything like that. So going up, our plan was to make a farm. As my friend picked out the place for it, I started digging, and we wanted to make a wheat farm here not just for ourselves, but also for the Ankylosaurus we grew first before this little T-Rex. It was a herbivore, which meant its diet was plant-based, and wheat was the best sustainable food to feed it and keep it happy. Because even dinosaur pets have a happy meter, and if we didn't look after them, they'd get really angry. It took a lot of work cleaning it out from the snow, and we also came across some trouble with the snow, because as soon as my friend placed the water, it would freeze. This meant we had to lit up the whole farm with torches to keep it from freezing. I also wondered if this frost would slow down our crop growth, but that's a question for later. We might build a sunroof in the future. And as soon as we started placing the first seeds, this was a really cool point, as it was always good to make self-farms in any type of world, as it means you can become self-sufficient and don't have to rely on hunting animals, or in our case, dinosaurs. Because yeah, our diet consists of literally raw dinosaur meat. You don't even have to cook it, you just eat it and regain hunger. But before departing on another expedition, I decided to build a snowman inside our laboratory to keep everything in check. Now we had a lab assistant which could help us develop new dinosaur DNA and clone different breeds. But getting ready, I put everything I don't need into the chest, and we headed off. This time we saw some smoke coming from another direction, and we thought it was another volcano. We didn't want to be in the eruption zone, so we had to go and check out how close and big it was. So scaling all the different terrain, we made our journey to the volcano, and when the sun was setting, we got close to a really rocky hill. I didn't get that it was the volcano at first, but as I got closer, I saw it was a lot steeper than an average mountain. Climbing it, we found ourselves under the night sky, and because this was a volcano that still hasn't started spewing lava, we didn't really know how dangerous it was to climb up. But as we got to the top, we saw the lava was just spewing. We still had time because it didn't get too high and only started rolling down the volcano on two sides. But deciding to explore a little, I made a bridge across the lava. And nonetheless, we got the info we came here for. The volcano was just outside the range of our base. So it was safe to go back down and start heading back. This was just a quick checkup, because if we didn't make sure it's far away enough, we could have an obsidian block land on our house and destroy our chests. And that meant we would lose all our stuff. But upon getting closer to base, we saw a number of Tyrannosaurs. Our little T-Rex was still too young to fight, so we had to defend the base ourselves. So we started working from bows. And because I also had full onyx armor, I decided to test my melee skills. And as we took down a number of these Tyrannosaurs around the base, the last one got me down to 2 hearts. And as we killed him, we saw another one poking his head out. And can you believe it? This was our little T-Rex. He grew so big already. But because he was still in the enclavement, he was just sticking his head out. We nearly killed him, but it turned out he was our little baby dino we made earlier. But yeah, after clearing out more dinos around the base and making sure it was safe, I decided to seal off the enclavement area, so that he wouldn't get away if he decided to come back into this part. But having checked the laboratory with Mr. Snowman, and also checking the progress of our wheat farm, which, yeah, we would need a sunroof to grow anything in this snow, we decided to end this journey here. If you made it this far, then subscribe. If you enjoyed this video and want a part 2, then comment down below and let me know. My friend Diamond Ninja's channel will be in the description. Check him out because he made a video from his point of view, and he gets in a lot of trouble with some dinosaurs. Thanks for watching and take care.